Imagine waking up every morning, going to work, working 40 hours a week, doing everything society told you to do, and somehow still feeling broke.
Every month you promise yourself this month will be different.
You'll save more, spend less, finally get ahead. But then life happens. Rent is due.
The car needs repairs. Groceries cost more than they did last month.
The electric bill arrives. And suddenly your paycheck is gone before the next one even arrives. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Not even close.
Because right now America is facing a financial crisis that millions of people are silently struggling through.
And here's the scary part. Many of those people aren't unemployed. They aren't lazy. They aren't irresponsible. They're working hard every single day. Yet they still can't seem to get ahead. Today I'm going to show you why. And more importantly,
I'm going to show you exactly how to take control of your money.
Even if your income feels too small, stay with me until the end.
Because the budgeting system I'm about to share has helped countless people go from surviving paycheck to finally building financial peace.
And you can start this week. Welcome to the channel. If you're tired of feeling stressed about money,
if you're tired of wondering where your paycheck disappeared to,
and if you're ready to finally take control of your financial future, hit the subscribe button. Because every week we're going to break down personal finance in a way that's simple, practical, and actually useful. No confusing jargon. No unrealistic advice. Just real-world money strategies for real people. Now let's talk about what's really happening. Here's something that might surprise you. America is one of the wealthiest countries in history. Yet millions of Americans are financially stressed. Think about that.
We live in a time of incredible technology.
Instant access to information. Online jobs. Investment apps. Financial tools. Yet financial anxiety continues to rise. Why?
Because while incomes have increased for some people,
the cost of living has increased for almost everyone. Housing costs. Food costs. Transportation costs. Insurance. Healthcare. Utilities. Everything feels more expensive.
And many Americans feel like they're running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up.
No matter how hard they work, they never seem to move forward. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah is fictional,
but her story is very real.
Sarah earns about $3,200 a month after taxes. She works hard, shows up on time, pays her bills, doesn't buy luxury items, doesn't travel the world. She's simply trying to survive. Every month her money looks something like this: rent, car payment, insurance, gas, groceries, phone bill, utilities, internet, student loans.
And before she knows it,
there's almost nothing left.
Then one unexpected expense arrives.
A medical bill, a car repair, a prescription.
And suddenly she's using a credit card just to stay afloat.
Sound familiar?
For millions of Americans,
this isn't fiction. It's reality. One of the biggest lies people believe is this: budgeting doesn't work. The truth? Most budgets don't work. There's a difference. Most people create budgets that look great on paper. Then real life happens, and the budget falls apart. Why? Because they create fantasy budgets, not reality budgets. They tell themselves, I'll only spend $200 on groceries, even though they normally spend $500. They say, I won't eat out this month, even though they know that's unrealistic.
They pretend expenses don't exist, then act surprised when those expenses show up. A successful budget isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. The goal isn't to create a perfect plan. The goal is to create a realistic plan. Here's a question. How many years did you spend in school? 12? 16? Maybe more? Now think about this. How many classes taught you? How to budget? How credit cards work? How to avoid debt? How to build an emergency fund? How to invest? For most people, the answer is zero. We learn algebra, history, science, literature. But nobody teaches us how to manage the money we'll spend our entire lives earning. So what happens? We learn through mistakes. Expensive mistakes. Credit card debt. Late fees. Overdraft charges. Loans we don't understand. Financial stress becomes our teacher. And unfortunately, financial stress charges tuition. Most people think they have an income problem. And sometimes they do. But many people actually have a clarity problem. Here's what I mean. Ask someone, how much did you spend last month? Many people don't know. Ask, how much did you spend on food? They don't know. Ask, how much did you spend on subscriptions? They don't know. Ask, how much money came in versus how much went out? Again, they don't know. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Think about a business. Would a successful company operate without tracking money? Of course not. Yet millions of people manage their personal finances that way every month. Money comes in. Money goes out. And they hope everything works out. Hope is not a budget. Clarity is. Everything changes the moment you decide to face your numbers. Not judge them. Not feel ashamed of them. Just face them. Because your numbers tell a story. A story about your habits. Your priorities. Your challenges. Your opportunities. And once you know the story, you can begin changing the ending. The first step toward financial freedom isn't making more money. The first step is knowing exactly where your current money is going. That's it. Simple. Not easy. But simple. And in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. We're going to build a budget from scratch. Using a real-life example. Step by step. No finance degree required. No complicated spreadsheets. No confusing jargon. Just a practical system that works. And what happens next might completely change how you think about money forever. Now we're getting into the part that changes lives. Because the difference between people who constantly struggle with money and people who eventually gain control of it often comes down to one thing: awareness. You can't fix what you don't understand. You can't improve what you don't measure. And you definitely can't build a budget if you don't know what you're working with. So before we talk about saving money, before we talk about investing, before we talk about paying off debt, we need to know exactly how much money is coming in and exactly how much money is going out. Let's imagine you're bringing home $3,200 a month after taxes. Maybe your income is higher. Maybe it's lower. That's okay. The principles are exactly the same. The first mistake many people make is assuming all $3,200 belongs to them. It doesn't. Because some of that money already has a job. Rent has a job. Food has a job. Transportation has a job. Utilities have a job. Your task is to tell every dollar where it should go before it disappears. Not after. Before. Because if you don't tell your money where to go,
You'll spend your life wondering where it went. Here's what I want you to do. Take out the last 30 days of bank statements. Not 6 months ago. Not last year. The last 30 days. Now go through every single transaction. Yes. Every one. This is where most people get shocked. Because what feels like a few small purchases often adds up to hundreds of dollars. That daily coffee? Maybe $150 a month. Food delivery? Maybe $200 a month. Subscriptions? Another $80. Random purchases? Another $100. And suddenly you've discovered $500 that seemed invisible. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Money leaks happen quietly. A few years ago, a man named Marcus decided to track every dollar for a month. He wasn't rich. He wasn't earning 6 figures. He simply wanted answers. At the end of the month, he discovered something surprising. He had spent nearly $700 on convenience. Food delivery. Coffee. Impulse purchases. Streaming subscriptions. Small expenses that felt harmless. He wasn't shocked because he spent money. He was shocked because he never realized how much. That discovery alone helped him save over $5,000 the following year. Not by suffering. Not by deprivation. By awareness. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Needs versus wants. And before anyone gets defensive, we all have wants. Including me. The goal isn't to eliminate joy from your life. The goal is to stop confusing wants with necessities. Needs are things required for survival and stability. Housing. Food. Utilities. Transportation to work. Insurance. Basic healthcare. Wants are things that improve life but aren't essential. Dining out. Premium subscriptions. Impulse shopping. Luxury upgrades. The problem isn't having wants. The problem happens when our wants consume money meant for our priorities. Notice something. This budget isn't perfect. Because perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. Have you ever noticed something strange? The day you get paid feels amazing. You feel secure. Relieved. Hopeful. Then a few days later, that feeling disappears. Why? Because many people budget backwards. They spend first. Then save whatever remains. Unfortunately, nothing remains. The people who succeed financially do the opposite. They decide where money goes immediately after payday. Every dollar gets assigned. Every category gets funded. Every priority gets covered. Before temptation arrives. I'm about to give you one of the simplest financial habits you'll ever learn. And it can save you thousands. The 24-hour rule. Whenever you want to buy something that wasn't planned, wait 24 hours. That's it. Not forever. Just 24 hours. Because impulse purchases thrive on emotion. Good decisions thrive on time. You'll be amazed how many things stop feeling necessary after one day. The urge fades. The excitement disappears. And your money stays where it belongs. When people hear the words cut expenses, they imagine misery. No fun. No enjoyment. No freedom. That's not what we're doing. We're not cutting everything. We're cutting what doesn't matter. So we can spend more on what does. If you love coffee, keep the coffee. Maybe reduce something else. If family outings matter to you, keep them. Maybe cancel subscriptions you never use. Budgeting isn't punishment. It's prioritization. Every dollar you spend says, "This matters to me." Make sure your money reflects your values. not your impulses.
A single mother named Jennifer was overwhelmed by debt.
Every month felt like survival. She thought she needed a second job. Maybe she did eventually.
But first she examined her spending. Within 2 weeks she found nearly $350 every month in expenses that added little value to her life.
Unused subscriptions. Impulse purchases. Excess dining out.
By redirecting that money toward debt and savings,
her financial situation began improving. Not overnight, but consistently. And consistency changes lives. Let's talk about the reasons so many budgets fail. Emergencies. The car breaks down. The child gets sick. The water heater fails. Life happens. And when it does, many people reach for a credit card. Not because they're irresponsible. Because they have no alternative. That's why your first savings goal isn't a vacation. It isn't investing. It isn't buying something nice. It's building a financial cushion.
Even if you start with just $10,
or $20, or $50 a paycheck, the amount matters less than the habit. Because every dollar saved is future stress avoided. Here's something important. Don't wait until you're financially perfect before celebrating progress. Celebrate small victories. Your first $100 saved. Celebrate it. Your first month following a budget. Celebrate it. Your first debt paid off. Celebrate it. Because financial success isn't built in giant leaps.
It's built in small victories repeated consistently.
And if you're watching this right now, you're already ahead of millions of people. Because you're learning. You're paying attention. You're taking action. Now that you understand how to build a budget, the next question becomes: how do you actually get ahead? How do you save when money is tight? How do you escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle? How do you build wealth when your income feels limited? In the final section, I'm going to show you the exact 90-day financial reset plan. How to increase your income in 2026. How to build an emergency fund faster.
How to stay motivated when progress feels slow.
And most importantly, how to create a future where money stops controlling your life. Let's be honest. The hardest part about budgeting isn't creating the budget. The hardest part is sticking to it. Especially when life gets difficult. Especially when you're tired. Especially when progress feels slow. And that's exactly why so many people quit. Not because budgeting doesn't work. Because results don't happen as fast as they expected. We live in a world of instant gratification. Instant food. Instant entertainment. Instant shopping. But financial freedom? That's different. Financial freedom is built slowly. One decision at a time. One paycheck at a time. 1 month at a time. And that's where most people give up. Right before things start getting better. Let's talk about the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Because millions of Americans are trapped in it. Here's how it works. You get paid. You pay bills. You buy necessities. You spend a little extra. Then you wait for the next paycheck. And the cycle repeats. Month after month. Year after year. The scary part? You can be earning good money and still be trapped. Many people believe, if I just made more money, all my problems would disappear. Sometimes that's true. But often it isn't. Because without a plan, higher income simply creates higher spending. Financial freedom doesn't start when you earn more. It starts when you manage what you already have. I want to give you a simple challenge. For the next 90 days. Not forever. Just 90 days. Because 90 days can completely change your financial future. For the first month, your only job is awareness. Track every dollar. Everything. The coffee. The groceries. The gas. The subscriptions. The impulse purchases. Everything. You're not trying to be perfect. You're gathering information. Because information creates clarity. And clarity creates change. Now that you know where your money is going, it's time to stop the leaks. Cancel unused subscriptions. Reduce impulse spending. Negotiate bills if possible. Shop with a list. Cook more meals at home. Not because you're punishing yourself. Because you're building breathing room. Now take every dollar you've freed up and give it a mission. Emergency fund. Debt payoff. Savings. Future goals. This is where momentum begins. And momentum changes everything. Let's talk about something important. There comes a point where cutting expenses isn't enough. You can only cut so much. Eventually, you need more income. And that's okay. Too many people feel ashamed about needing additional income. Don't. Some of the most successful people in America started with side income. The question isn't, do I need another income source? The question is, what skills do I already have that can generate income? Can you write? Can you tutor? Can you design? Can you manage social media? Can you provide a service locally? Can you freelance online? Can you sell a skill? The opportunities available today didn't exist 20 years ago. The internet has created possibilities previous generations could only dream about. Let's talk about David. David worked a regular 9-to-5 job. Every month he felt stuck. No matter how carefully he budgeted, there wasn't enough margin. So instead of giving up, he decided to learn a new skill. Nothing fancy. Just a skill he could offer online. At first he earned very little. Then a little more. Then a little more. 2 years later, that side income was generating more than his original job. The lesson? Never underestimate small beginnings. Imagine this. Your car breaks down tomorrow. Could you pay for it? A medical expense appears. Could you handle it? Your employer reduces your hours. Would you survive financially? These aren't negative thoughts. They're realistic possibilities. And this is exactly why emergency funds matter. Emergency funds don't eliminate problems. They eliminate panic. They give you options. They buy time. And sometimes, time is the most valuable thing money can purchase. Here's something I wish everyone understood. Financial success is not about being perfect. It's about becoming intentional. You will make mistakes. You will overspend sometimes. You will have setbacks. That's normal. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Because progress compounds. Just like debt compounds. Small improvements repeated consistently become life-changing results. Let's imagine something. 1 year from today. You followed a budget. You tracked your spending. You built an emergency fund. You reduced debt. You increased your income. You became intentional with money. How different could your life look? How much stress could disappear? How much confidence could grow? How many opportunities could open up? 1 year passes whether you act or not. The question is, who will you become during that year? Maybe you're watching this with debt. Maybe you're behind on bills. Maybe you're worried about the future. Maybe you're wondering if things will ever get better. Hear me carefully. Your current financial situation is a chapter, not the entire story. You are not defined by your bank balance. You are not defined by past mistakes. You are not defined by financial setbacks. What matters is what you do next. Today you've learned something powerful. Money doesn't have to control your life. You can create a plan. You can build better habits. You can improve your situation. And you can start right now. Not next month. Not next year. Today. Because the best budget is not the perfect budget. The best budget is the one you actually follow. If you found value in this video, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And turn on notifications. We're just getting started. This channel is going to be your guide to budgeting, saving, investing, building wealth, and creating financial freedom one step at a time. And I want to hear from you. Comment below. What is the biggest financial challenge you're facing right now? Is it debt? Saving money? Budgeting? Rising expenses? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And your comment might inspire a future video. Remember, you don't need to be rich to start managing your money. But you do need to start managing your money if you want to become financially secure. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video.